Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to create your first entity, the foundation of everything in TypeORM. Think of entities as blueprint that tells TypeORM how to build your database tables. Okay, so what are entities? Imagine you are an architect designing a house. You create detailed blueprint that specify number of rooms and their purposes, type of material for each component, electrical and plumbing layouts. An entity in TypeORM is like that blueprint but for database tables. It's a TypeScript class decorated with special annotation that tells TypeORM what the table should call, what column it should have, what data type each column should store, any special constants or relationships. Okay, so let's create here day 2 hyphen entities. Here I will copy this package.json, case config, and paste in day 2. Also, I will create here src folder and I will copy app.js and paste it here. Okay, now let me move to slash cd dot cd2 day 2 entities. Let's execute here npm install. So whatever the dependency was there in this, it will be installed. Let me close all and open app.js. Here in the src folder, I will create one folder as entities first. In the entities, let's create user.ts file. Now let's create here blueprint of our table. Let's export, means I want to export the user class from here. Let's take here simple ID as number. Let's take here after that, or else I will give here semicolon. First name. Let's take the data type as string. Let us take here declare. Declare here last name. Let's take here string. After that, let's take or else we can also do one thing. Let us take let also or else const. Let's take here declare only. Okay. After that, let's take email of type string, and after that, let's take declare age, and age should be of type number, and after age we need to take is active. Okay, means the user is active or no. Let's take it as boolean type, and at last let's take created. Let's take data type as state. So this is a simple class with their fields, and user has id, first name, last name, email, age, right, and is active, created it. So this is our fields. But in the TypeORM, how should we inform that we want to use this as a table, this class. So we need to import couple of things from TypeORM. That is, first one, entity, and after that I want primary generated column and a column. Okay, these are the decorators we have imported from the TypeORM. In order to mention as to create a table users, we need to annotate this with entity. Okay, and we should give here the table name which we want to create in our database. So I want to make entity means the database with the name users. Okay, and I want to make this id as primary generated column. Okay, primary generated column. Let's decorate it first and I will come to that later. And after that I want to make the first name as column and its type I want to give as varchar. And as in the database, while creating, we will create database and the table name, field name, and the data type we will give as varchar. Inside that, we will give the length, right? So let's give here length as 100. Okay, and let me duplicate it, and I will give this same thing for the last name also. And also for the email, I'll take the same thing about for the email. Let's take length to 200 maybe, and let's take unique, right? It is a constant. Unique is equals to true. Okay, now after that let's duplicate it and paste it above the age, and above age was data type of integer, so we need to take here int, right? Or integer you can give, it is also possible. Let's take int integer. Okay, and we need not to give any constant and length in this case. I'll remove it. After that let's copy this and move it here, and boolean will be type of boolean. Let's take, also we can take the default values, like whenever we create in the database, right? Create table, while creating it we will give their default values, right? Suppose I was creating here create table name as users, and here we'll add id varchar of 100 like this, and similarly is active, I want to take it as boolean type, and default, right? A default I want to give it as false, something like this. Okay, so default value whenever I insert it should be automatically added, so we can give that as default. Let's take default value as false. Now let me copy this, and the created date, what will be the data type? It should be a timestamp. Timestamp is nothing but the date with the time, right? Date with the time. And I want to take the default value as, we need to take here a arrow function, and let's take the database current underscore timestamp, right? So we have declared our user entity, you can see, Now let's move to src and let's create here one file as data source txt, and in this I will go to app.js and I will copy this. Let me copy everything from here and paste it here. Okay, and in this you can see we have created in the last video the entities with the empty array. So the users which we have created I will import here. So import something from dot slash entities slash user, and I want to import here the user which we have created. Let's copy that and paste it here. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are registering the user entity here so that our TypeORMs know that we want to use this table, and if it is not created it should be created because of this line, right? Synchronize true means it will be created that table. Okay, now let's move to app.js. Let me remove everything from here and let's import the data source from here dot slash data source, and the data source was app data source, right? So I'll import here. I think we haven't exported from there, so let's export. You can see the error has gone. Now I will also import here user. Okay, after that let's define here main function. So I'll define async function main. Async function main. Let's wrap the things and try and catch. And here let's initialize our database which we have defined in the data source. So await app data source dot initialize, right? The same thing we are doing here. If there is no errors, it means the database has connected successfully. Let's console log here that database connected successfully. Now let's get the user repository. Think of it is as an manager for user operations. So before that, let's do one thing here. I will go to day 2 and let's execute npm run tape. Before that, let's come here and refresh this database table in the PostgreSQL. You can see there is no tables currently. Also here, let's do one thing. Let's console log the error also. Console dot error and error, and the error object will paste here. And finally block, it will be executed always. So let's take here finally block, and here we will clean up the connection. Okay, if anything went wrong in the finally block, we don't have any params. Let's remove it and await database app data source dot destroy. Destroy, what it will do, if the connection has stabilized, it will be destroyed. Let's execute this now. So you can see it's getting started. Let's wait. Node1 app has started. Let's refresh the table. Nothing has happened. Okay, so what we have done here, we haven't called this main function, right? So let's copy this and paste it here and let's execute that. Okay, that's why. And you can see here after executing, you can see one SQL query has executed, select version and something transition, current schema, tables, and you can see it has created the user table automatically. See here. And you can see to the field ID, it has taken primary key. Why? Because why it has taken? See here in the primary generated column, I have taken here field as, right? Primary generated column auto increment the primary key means it will define this as as it is primary means it is a primary key, and it will be auto increment the things when we will insert the things into the database. We'll see that now. Okay, especially for every entity like unique ID card, for each record we'll use this, and PostgreSQL will use as a serial type. Okay, if you have used PostgreSQL, there is a serial type, which means it is a primary key. Oh no, it is not a primary key. It is a auto increment the things. Okay, if we'll go to PostgreSQL now and refresh the things, the user table has created. You can see here. And inside this, we have see here ID, primary key, integer type, and it will be auto increment. Sequence. So you can see in the sequence user ID sequence it has taken. So it is a sequence order. When insert first name, last name, email, age, active, okay, created it will automatically add that first value. Okay. Now here the columns, it is a basic column, okay, and it is a column, and here we are taking the data types, and we have taken it is a unique constant, so it will be unique in this. Okay, and you can see whatever the varchar length we have given, it has defined here. Okay, now let me come into app again and let's insert some data into it. How we can insert that? Okay, so in order to insert the data, first we need to use a repository. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to get the user repository. Think of it is a manager for user operations. Okay, manager for user operation. Let's take const user repository. Let's take is equals to data updated source dot. If you do here dot, let's say get repository, and we need to pass here user. Okay, so user repository. Think of it as user repository. Think of it as a manager for user operations. Now, how we can create the things? So, in order to create the things, we need to take here create a new user. Okay, const new user. Let's take is equals to new user. Okay, const user is equals to new user. The entity which we are taking here, we are creating the object, and new user dot. Let's take here first name. Let's take first name is equals to John, and new user dot last name. Let's take is equals to Doe. After that, let's take new user dot email is equals to John dot Doe dot example.com. After that, let's take new user dot age. Okay, let's take age is equals to 25. After that, let's take as is active by default. What we have taken here, by default we have taken false. Okay, let's not give for now. So let's see what is active, whether it will reflect the things to active or not. Okay, now after that we need to save the user to the database. Okay, how we can do that? So in order to do that, we need to use here const save user. Let's take it to await. So we need to use here await, because when we do save, it will perform insert operation to our database and it will take some time. If you will not wait, that operation will not be done, right? So let's take user repository dot save, and let's take the new user which we have created here. Okay, so user repository which we have taken like this, right? So this repository I was talking about, user repository dot save, we are saving the user which we have created. Okay, now let's console log user saved. Okay, and whatever the saved user will console log here. Okay, the return, in the return we will get the object of the saved user. Okay, now I think we are executing. Oh yeah, here you can see uh, as we are using node mon. So when I have control S, it has executed this query and it has saved. You can see insert operation it has done, and I executed first name, last name, age, email is active, created it, and the things it has added in this. Okay, and you can see is active, it is taking as by default false. If I'll go to database again, PostgreSQL, so one insert operation is as added. Just we have given first name, last name, email, and age. By default, it has taken false, right? Is active, and created it also it has taken by default, as we have mentioned while creating the schema, that default value, and it is primary generated column, right? So it has auto increment the things. So it will take the things in serials 1, 2, 3, something like that. And we haven't given ID, but it has added automatically. Okay. Now let me terminate it. Now let's see how we can find the users. Okay. So we have saved the users here. Let me comment now, as we not need this. Now let's see how we can get the users, find all the users. Okay. Let's take here find all users. So const all users is equals to, we need to take await the user repository which we have created dot find, we need to perform operation. Okay, after that let's console log all users. Okay, and all users, let's print here. Now let's execute npm run start. So you can see it has performed some select operation and we have got all the users, you can see here in the array form. Okay, we will have more than these users, we'll get all the users here. Okay, now let's deep dive something into the columns, like we haven't implemented most of the things here. So let me go to here first username, or else let me define here username. Okay, already we have defined the first name, last name. Suppose if you want to perform some more operations, so I will not create in the database, but I will show how we can do that. Okay, user, let's declare user name, let's take it as of type string. Okay, let's take here column, and inside this column we'll pass the object. Okay, as already we have seen what is type, so we can define all the types. You can see it is auto suggesting me the types, right? Varchar, varbytes, varchar2. Okay, let's take here varchar, and you can see it is auto suggesting the length. Okay, let's take here 100. After that, we can also use here nullable. Nullables, let's take it as false. What is nullable? Uh, can be null. Okay, I will give here comment so that let us you will have some reference. Can be null. Okay, means it can be null. If you will allow nullable is equals to true. Okay, it cannot be null. Okay, it cannot be null. Nullable true means it can be null. Okay. After that, unique true or false. Let's take here false means if you will give here unique true, the field will be unique here. Okay, and we can take here default. Let's take for now unknown. Okay, so default values we can perform here. If we want to give any comments, we can give here comments. Let's take users name. So column comment in the database, if you know what is comments in the database, so that comment it will add here. Suppose this username, you can see the first name how it is taking first, and first name as it is whatever we have given it has taking here, right, in the table also. Suppose you want to change the declared name and the database name, you can give here name. Okay, let's take user underscore name. So now it will not create the field name in the database as username, but it will override to user names. Okay, so it is optional. So let's comment it. For your reference, I have given this. So this is for all for today. Now tomorrow we'll dive into in the next video CRUD operation and a repository. You will learn how to perform create, read, update, and delete operation working with repository methods find one, save, remove. Okay, and building a complete user management system will do that. Get ready to become a data manipulation wizard. Okay, thank you. Let's meet in next video.